If they play another Neon comp and try and go into C-hits, I think Zelsis does a great job as an anchor on the Vice there at varying his setups, at playing different positions, and almost always punishing that dive player.
For Sentinels, as you're saying, there's no reason to change up their composition. If I'm not mistaken, XLG has already locked in their agents. Yeah. So this is exactly what we saw in Sansa. This was what I was expecting since, you know, moving away from the Tejo, and a complete repetition of what we saw on the first map. And as I was saying, if Sentinels already had a read, the Viper, the Omen, the Vice, they're going to have such stopping power. They have all the things, all the ingredients that they need for a recipe of success in this defense.
XLG, though, playing solo controller on Lotus. Most of the top teams on this map have been playing or are going back to playing the Viper Omen instead. And it does limit your options on attack side. It's harder to get lurks into A. It's harder to go for some of the re-clear plays there. And it also makes your post plants just a little bit weaker. So I do worry, unless XLG is really on their game, they're going to be a little telegraphed on this attacking side. You don't have as much variety, and you can't create quite as much of a fog of war as you can with that Viper.
And we're seeing some of these agents get locked in here. I was curious to see what we're going to get from Zelsis. He opts to go for that Vice. Vice, very good. It's going to be a great counter for the Neon as well here. And we'll see. The thing that's worrisome to me here, Kukuka, is that this is the same composition. We just saw it happen. We saw their struggle with the spacing. We saw all of those struggles on the screen. I don't know if they have enough time to fix it, man.
And worst thing is that Narrate is also having a very, very impressive tournament. I think that on the previous map, he was a little bit of an unsung hero because he created so many situations, so many circumstances for retakes and whatnot, that I feel like, especially with Zekken on the race, he's going to have that same impact on Lotus.
Well, the question we're wondering is if XLG can force a map 3, or does Sentinels end it here and now? Let's send it back to your casters to get this show going. It's Uber and Wyatt yet again.
Terrifying pistol and eco play. Incredible fundamentals, trading and spacing, and, well, HyperX and Raga dominating. Those are the 3 win conditions we outlined for XLG Gaming at the start of this series, and only one of them has been present on that first map of Sunset, Wyatt.
And on the opposite side, we are looking at Zekken at his absolute best. And now going to Lotus, Raze, that's his OG agent. That is the agent that he made his name on years ago. When we're thinking about those XSET days, just the other day against Billy, he was a dominant force and is even better right now. That was an all-star performance on map 1. XLG looking out of sorts, having some moments where they looked scrambled, nervous. They need to get their heads in the game right now, or SEN will have ran the gauntlet, beaten every team from China. We'll move on to the next part of the bracket.
They're the only NA team in the upper bracket remaining. Narrate has looked inspired today. Always unexpected, ridiculous off angles, round after round. Sheer wall drawn out here by HyperX. And the rest of XLG starting to file into rubble. Rotates being drawn across the map by the defenders.
That's due to Bang just jump spotting on C, pressure into tree. Raga in mid-AR. Stock, this is a bizarre situation. Zelsis doesn't want to give them an inch, he doesn't want to swing.
He's gonna wait, and there he goes. Emerges with a right click, and it's another one for the 5 merchant. And the door shuts. Narrate with the swing.
Spike down A.
Zelsis eventually brought down. Narrate also both offenders from the defense side quelled, but the spike's loose. Zekken might have a timing here. Disrespect the poison orb and push through seems to be the plan. Now, I for one am here for it. Step up on the site, Paranoia cut through. HyperX tucked along with Coconut. This paint shell definitely going to rattle the cage a little bit. There it is, HyperX brought down by it, but Coconut and John, the one-way being respected. John swings while Paranoid, and Coconut salvages the round.
There's some momentum for XLG. Disastrous open, pushing into Zelsis. Tucked back tree. Can't get the trade after Raga presses forward. I believe that was the patented Zelsis Arc Rose in the top right that gets the blind onto midi. Zekken had a lovely nade there towards the end, but it was just John stuck in waterfall that entire juncture of the pistol round. No HP, cut off by the dart cover one way. Brilliant start.
6-1 are XLG on this map in VCT China. Definitely their best, but I mean, Sentinels have already handled BLG and Wolves.
That being said, they've shown a lot. XLG should be very prepped for this, and as bold as we called it, for them to pick Sunset into Sen, it's bold of Sen to pick this into XLG. This is right at the top of their pool.
That is Kaplan pitting Sen's best pick against that of XLG. We have a dual marshal take on this round. Okay, so he is a wrench in the works there over at Rubble. Also confirms there's only 1 to 2 players, so Sen have every reason to stay here on the C side of the map.
Viva got right out of that drone to get the trade. A lot of noise here being made by Rarga, going to open the door as well. Just try and keep the focus of Sen towards C and B, where they've been gamble stacking this entire time. As Viva on the opposite side of the map has been able to control the Rubble area, hasn't been pushed. This is an easy rotate call into the very vacant site.
And Sen are just going to play catch up here. And I know we mentioned it a couple times, but I don't think it can be overstated how different XLG's showing on this Sunset map has been from their play in the lead up to this tournament, the same play that qualified them. Online, they never fought alone, had great setups, were always on a crossfire, or at least a good spacing double swing scenario. Can they find their footing here?
There.
They don't have much time to get it together.
And you really saw Rarga online at his best playing that. Yoru especially, Chamberon's occasion as well. The Neon was so disconnected from the team on Sunset. That has to be rectified.
Being here on Viva, instead trying to get some back for their buck at the end of the round. 2 kills for the defenders, but XLG get off to a good start on this attack side. Sen elected to start on defense here.
Happy to collect a couple kills over to their initiators, but as far as early ultimates go, it's Zelsis close to that Steel Garden. He's able to just get an easy little right click to open things up here.
Let's go, we win pistol, bro, let's go. Hype, 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 let's go.
Locking in, getting excited. Rarga has the Vandal into this round. See if he can do something with it. Early recon to get out into Rubble. Second wants to escape the baby door. Pick up a bit of a safer angle after that pressure comes through.
He immediately bailed. I think seeing the fast lane made him feel like he was not well equipped to take that fight head on. Important round to convert on for Sentinels. Great start. Look at that pop out of B, and there's 2 players sat on that line. Coconut and Happyway out of the game. Once again, another player doubles off the line. Bang gets out, realizing that Raga's coming for him now too.
And I'm sure XLG wanted to get towards B, but realized they just have to get into A fast after all that.
Planted.
Fighting occurs in main. A lot of damage done to Narrate in Zekken. Perhaps if they had real weapons, those would have just been straight up kills, but maybe the low HP could be enough for XLG to get back into this.
Sees in towards Pit. That is definitely going to catch on the midi, decaying him down, holding in place, and so Viva gets overwhelmed. No chance for midi to try and trade there from lower Pit. Gonna have to be a fast play now here from Sentinels, and when midi tries to gum up the works, Rarga dealt with. And Sentinels give XLG just enough rope to trip themselves with in that round. Giving some space, waiting to double or triple up. Very nicely handled, that pace coming in from the attackers.
Yeah, there are multiple players stunned up. And that fault line comes through for midi for Viva to try and swing off of here. Look at that. 3 of them, in fact. Really hoping there'd be maybe 2 players up there. Certainly not 4. As one of them is able to get out of the way of that fault line.
And honestly, Sen, with such a clean play into the XLG bonus, have pretty even footing now into this round number 4. Still Garden, developed by Zelsis, someone you mentioned was pivotal on this map and their run to playoffs. Already been showing a little bit of that magic.
Yeah, as soon as he picked up the Vice, even back in kickoff for the run to qualify for Bangkok, Zelsis was putting up some of the most impressive maps we have ever seen from him. Statistically speaking, it was Lotus, it was Vice, Rarga making his presence known. XLG do a good job of getting this wall procced very early into the round. Not able to deal with the thorns that are littered across that C site, but at the very least that will keep Zelsis feeling threatened as things progress.
We've seen how hard it is to sort of trigger that wall without like Euroclone or something similar with these Neon comps, you do risk that little shoulder peek out on the sea. And now it's time for SLG to double back and return. Razorvine caught Raga briefly. He'll be able to regen up some of that shield to get onto the side. Once again, Sen are going to allow for this, Wyatt. They want the full retake behind the steel guard.
It's going to be ripped right now. Vargas pressed up very far forward, and with these weak weapons, it's just all too easy.
John and Zelsis combined for 4. Finally, Midi will have access to his weapon, but not before Narrate cuts him to the quick. Sentinels very quickly dropped pistol. They have evened up the game.
Outrageous value from the early steel garden that Zelsis got access to. As this round closes out, Zekin doing enough to earn his showstopper as well. So advantages continue to cycle for Sentinels. Can't be mad at XLG trying to get some point space. That is always a win condition when you're getting the spike down on C. They're not able to push far enough to get out of the steel garden. They didn't have an opportunity to retreat to a little pocket that was on the edge of halls. So ultimately dealt with so easily as they just have classics in that scenario.
Another valuable defense side round for Sen. They feel like they're worth 2 attack side rounds on this map sometimes. Zekin sees enough. Draws a beat on Coconut with the showstopper, and that's the Omen gone. No more controller util for XLG to get into any of these sites. It means they can't cover off stairs, they can't cover off B upper. They can't smoke for a safe trigger of the shield wall on C either.
Looks like the split at M4B is coming as the fault line goes down. Nothing to cut off Heaven. Raga, does he want to push for more? Going to slide across, trying to get someone to swing off of him. Relay bolt decent, forces Sen back. Spike down.
They can't stall the relay. They don't have any dark covers. Rolling Thunder though comes out. XLG hoping to fight with it, but there wasn't really an opportunity. Zekin gets in there, downed by Midi Stinger, and then Shorty, yep, will get the job done. Smoke there over towards that baby door direction. Viva needs to make a decision here. Can he peek on a timing with Happyway? It's awkward with the Marshall to try and get a retake, and now he's going to be revealed essentially by the Prowler. Happyway taking pot shots, but doesn't quite have the accurate spike location. He's not trained on the mark. And that's a defusing. Viva looking a little uncomfortable towards the end of the round. He'll get Narrate, but that is 3 in a row from the America squad.
That's simply nothing the XLG IGL could get accomplished. Trapped in baby door. Zekin just feeling like, damn, I got my showstopper already. I guess I'll just use it to win this anti-half-buy. Why not? Free little kill to set things up. Lack of smokes when the execute comes through. XLG risk a lot going for the Rolling Thunder to push into spawn, which is essentially nullified just by Bang. Anyhow, on this full buy, early A fight is going to commence. XLG getting out fast, Raga using that lane to get forward. Sen want none of it. They peel back to the site.
Looks like Coconut ulted for some information. Zekin down, that's a duelist out of the way. Happyway leads. It gets aggressive, but Bang's able to spray down through the box. A good TP away, and Narrate picks up the line for him. Again, defensive trading, very, very strong for Sentinels. And they swing around that corner. Bang is handled. Viva, though, low. Sen have given up this A site now.
You know that John retreats temporarily. Zelsis silently working downstairs, hoping that... Oh my god, what a double face! That's beautiful from XLG.
And that our drone isn't going in John's direction. He is able to slip past it. Coconut, though, finds it. John knows approximately where the Sova was. But Coconut holds it down while his teammate was in the drone.
There we go. There's some of those good fundamentals that we are calling on XLG to have. Even when that execute is getting scary, chaotic. Center doing a nice job fighting backside. There was another great paranoia from Bang. They're able to still double up, fight together. They clear out Zelsis, who is silently rapping downstairs. Well played.
Where is Raga? Where is Raga?
Here.
Quiet game, to say the least.
Hasn't been fully needed so far. Happyway continues to pick up some of the slack. Viva has a great round there with a Guardian too. Sen have had a great economy building though, so they're on an easy full buy here.
This time, no pomp and circumstance, no fanfare about this A-side take. XLG are allowed to simply walk up.
Lightbolt could come out from there, stunned up.
He's got to hear Raga across to the side. They know he's here. Zelzes gets the drop on him. And the Razorvine means that nobody can follow up on the Neon. Oh god, no one is looking in narrate.
Last player standing.
Once again, it's the timing that XLG are just not ready for. In this round, the round here is really going to hurt the Chinese #1 squad. They pop up for air. Hard fought round 1. And immediately sent packing again.
They just want to go for the full A, execute fast. Sentinels making a good decision, good read on this round to pivot that Zelsis utility setup over to A. Everything there. And XLG just rush things right past the sheer wall. It cuts off any help for Raga, who's further kept at bay as the Thorns are on the ground. I believe there was an additional flash too. Zelsis again, that arc rose. It's just always in that same spot at upper tree. That's again the XLG duelist being disconnected, isolated.
10 seconds left.
It was awfully quick into the site, but I think they heard him cross. There was a player of Baby Door on a cover of smoke. Sensei, we don't have to fight hard for rubble this round. We're going to let you walk into that Sentinel util and hit you on the flood back in.
Neri too just able to get in a nice close-up tuck position, hold a crossfire. Obviously with good reason. We've talked so much about Zekin in this series. He was unreal on Sunset. But Narrate had so many high-impact kills. Didn't rack him up to the top of the board, but he was getting on several rounds the most important kill. His util has been really strong. He's having a great game. Great tournament at that. He was the best player for SEN in their opener against Wolves.
And generally, obviously, takes a moment with Zelsis to ask him who his besties going to be in this game. Who is he looking at on the other side of the stage to try and get in their head? Maybe interact with him a little bit. He said, undeniably, Raga. And so far, he has had the better of Raga in every single encounter that they have had.
You know, we've seen a similar story like this before at international events, where a team goes on an incredible run, and then they debut in the playoffs because they get to skip the group stage, but they're fresh to the pressure, to the prestige of an international event, and there's nerves. They get off to a slow start.
Even Kaplan said, with how the logistics work at the venue when getting set up, we have had to work really hard to get a routine established that lets us be energetic when we get to the stage. He said that's been a big reason why their starts have been slow, and XLG are just now figuring that out the hard way.
It reminds me of the team most analogous to XLG, when now G2, The Guard, debuted on LAN years ago after being on a sick run and starting in the playoffs and struggling at their first event. Both of these teams, the two best ascended teams we have now. Hard to not draw comparisons.
And this is XLG who are filling the shoes of EDG, which is a big job. That's the top representative from their scene. Access gained to the C side, but as usual, SEN will allow for this. It'll be a flood behind the Nightfall to get back in.
The two hero rifles and the two best aimers from XLG. Raga wants to push forward. He's hungry for that first kill.
Oh no! Raga wins it out. He's first in the game. Eventually he'll fall, but he feels like he's probably done enough now. Narrate wanted to get ahead of this. In fact, all of Sentinels disrespecting. Here's that flood. Midi on the line, marked down. Of course, decayed quite low by that Nightfall. Coconut still gets his. Beaver going to be pinged out to the back of the site now. Nurok left here for the attackers in Happyways. Somehow wended his way behind Sentinels. It's all on John. Plenty to see, a lot of targets to go for, and he knows, of course, those pulsing tethers where he needs to look.
Unfortunate.
Happyway gives him a tickle. He's got 3 bullets left in the chamber. No time to reload them. An unlikely round win for XLG, but a much needed one at that.
It's taken us a while, but we finally get an XLG bad bye round win. They had gotten away with
One enemy.
things just like this countless times during their run in China. Finally able to flip the script on SEN, get their economy going, which has been a struggle throughout this entire series so far.
Ungodly flank timing from Happyway really unraveled that for Sentinels. Another rubble fight here, like we said, won't contest this whatsoever. So now it'll be Raga pitted up against Bang at the A side.
We've really seen this from SEN on Lotus a lot in this tournament as a whole. Not particularly aggro in the early rounds. They're not running it down. They're not sending it. They're letting things come to them, letting the game come to them.
It's the loss of the breach in this comp for Sentinels as well. They have a little bit less to disrupt with. You know, usually the Omen and breach could double up there with the duelist, but no fault line here for Sentinels.
Well timed on this pit. John throws down to stop any aggression towards C. Drone, hoping to be used to clear him out, but he's able to get out of the way. And with the drone expired, you just really can't feel comfortable trying to get through the pit. So this is a pivot back to A, where a couple XLG players are inserted.
Is there a timing out of tree to be found for Sentinels? Zekken seems to think so. Door toggled. Bang takes an off angle, turns the flash. That's going to be checked for. Relay bomb comes in, but they're not ready for this! Zekken in the corner. Narrate from Upper.
One enemy
Picture
remaining.
perfect hold from Sentinels. Stopping XLG in their tracks.
XLG threw just so much utility into tree, but not getting the connections with it. Relay bolt, I don't believe pings onto anyone there.
No, it goes past them. Onto the site through tree.
Bang just able to assist second, pressed up close.
Oh no, they got pinged off that recon bolt.
The recon connected, the relay did not. Narrates there so fast to pick up Heaven. He cuts off the other duo that are trying to wrap into the site on the split from tree and main. And XLG right back onto the eco for what feels like the millionth time in this game. They've had such economic struggles throughout the series.
All right, snapped himself up a big daddy for this round. Odin in the hands of the Fade. Once again, that Vice Viper composition over at the C side of the map is a little more than XLG would like to see there. Oh, God. All right. Thought Marshall was going to blow some minds there. What can Zekken do here? XLG trying for a bit more of a meticulous approach to this bad buy. Break crosshair with Raga, then follow up on it. Zekken though gets out, he can sniff that something isn't right. Paranoia comes in, but he spaced this out a little bit with his own paint shells. Bought time now for the rest of the defenders. Hunter's Fury deployed onto the map, and XLG have unfettered access now to this B site. John will be forced away by this aftershock.
With some great util from them to get in. Heads up haunt from Narrate. We'll get the positioning of Happy Way. The one hero rifle for XLG will have to come up huge with a flank timing, something.
The Paranoia, maybe a seize to let them flood in behind, but they don't have the brim, or rather the breach flashes to work with. So far, so good. Still weaker weaponry for the attackers. Paranoia connects, Narrate deals with Happy Way, and Viva now takes some pot shots in through that smoke. John has to get on the defuse, but Coconut's already found some damage, a better weapon maybe. It's half. John will be protected by Zekken. 6 defense side rounds for Sentinels. Have to make the coaching booth, please.
It doesn't get much closer than that. John down to 1 from the shock dart that came through. Had to get off before he could actually hack the spike. That was looking more than dangerous. It seemed that XLG did enough, but Zekken stepping up. 2 isolated 1v1s. XLG not swinging together in that moment. Looked like Viva just couldn't get out wide enough through door, perhaps. Pretty disastrous, so winnable. Slips through their grasp. They've got a full buy. They've got a rolling thunder.
Sin actually throw a more decisive A-side variation. A bit of rubble presence. It doesn't pan out though, XLG or elsewhere. They've got so much, a veritable ton of util to try and fight through it again. You're sliding past the shield wall. Where's the backup supposed to be for Raga?
Early in this half, they were able to get rid of those walls and then work the map, try and go for an execute late. These fast hits are just not going to pan out when you're not getting accurate information on the Vice. You just cannot run into Zelsys setups like that.
Are they assuming that Zelsys is at A again? There's no attempt to force that wall out.
Being forced to teleport away now, so XLG are going to get a bit of control towards Rubble. 40 seconds or so left on the clock. Still rolling thunder in hand. Will there be an opportunity to even use that to try and get back in this round where they're at a man disadvantage?
30 seconds left.
They want to pivot back to C. There's still so much util here. HyperX tries to find the timing. He does get in first, clears out some of the thorns.
I think Shell could end him though. Nope, Zelsis gets with a com-level flank play from HyperX over the course of this map, but he's too low to do anything there at that site. And that's a save here for XLG, whichever way you slice it. They'll have high hopes to make use of this Rolling Thunder overdrive couple in the last round of the half.
That's going to be their only hope, because the cash is lower than low. Raga is going to need to step up this overdrive. He has been so disconnected from the team. It's resulted in his 10 deaths at the moment. This was an issue on Sunset that simply had to be fixed on Lotus. But XLG's willingness to rush some of these hits to try to get in quickly is on 2 occasions on buy rounds, just ultimately ended up in their demise. This is it for them. Raga has the Bucky with the overdrive at that. They're getting out fast on A. It's Bang actually who's picked up the Odin right now.
No Haunt pings though, nothing yet to play off of.
They have dodged the Prowler that Nerek just sent to get some info, so perhaps some false information. XLG, they want to contact off the back of that Prowler, not connect to press up a bit far forward. It's a baby door. They want to get into this big site right now. Raga going forward with the overdrive. Vulnerable up. Can he even find a target? How deep does he want to push?
John still respects it. They're trying to set up a multi-phase situation. Raga down to 49. He's got himself 2. And that's going to have to be enough. Shows up for second. Fire! Oh, man! And the paint shells! He's doing it all!
Not only does he stop the plant, but that's the Rolling Thunder gone.
Now Coconut trying to figure out if there's a way to make use of this from the shadows. But instead he goes to the Shadow Realm. Second and Bang are in no hurry. That's after HyperX, who's definitely been the most inspired component of this XLG outfit to try and make this respectable 5 rounds in this first half.
30
If he
seconds
can get
left.
this plant down safely, which he does, we'll have an opportunity to throw that neural threat. There we go. He knows where to look.
Now sometimes, even if you know what's coming, it doesn't make it any easier. It's second with 3. And SEN complete yet another 8-4 half on a map they themselves chose, knowing full well that it was XLG's best battleground.
2 of the rounds, XLG earning the pistol and initial anti-eco. By the way, the gun rounds dominant from SEN. They are playing so well today.
Got a quick break here, a chance for XLG to take their breath, and they need it. Stick around and see if this Chinese team can find their feet and composure after this.
Esports is a $2 billion industry now, but it all started in dingy basements and cramped living rooms.
From how the pros train to how the money flows, this G2 and Mastercard series breaks it all down. 12 episodes, packed with insight and lessons for anyone looking to understand the world of competitive gaming. Ready to learn the game behind the game?
Stay tuned for what's next.
You won't want to miss it.
Bottles knocking models, bottles knocking models. I wanna bump a beat that goes hard. I wanna bump a beat that goes hard. Bottles knocking models, bottles knocking models, bottles knocking models. I wanna bump a beat that goes hard. Pop it. Pop it. Pop it.
Another half that features great strides taken forward by Sentinels in this first game of playoffs. XLG languishing much as they did on Sunset. 4 attack side rounds on Lotus. It's definitely not what you want to come away with. But Sen have been very, very solid. It's time to talk Coinbase Econ report here, folks. And you can see John QT especially looking very, very good here. But in general, the pressure on Sentinels has felt pretty limited, even in a lot of these higher stakes rounds.
You could just see the distinct difference in the value that the guns have been getting, because on most of, if not, you know, a decent amount of the full buy rounds from XLG resulted in just 5-man running into a site where Zelsis was posted up and everybody just dies. So they're not getting really any value from the guns on those rounds, which unfortunately tells the story of their current state. They still need to wake up. Rarga needs to come to life on defense right now, was finding himself so disconnected from the pack, mostly due to Zelsis on the Vice. 4-11, which is not acceptable right now for XLG's star player, who dominated the Chinese region to get here in the first place. They need to come to life, get their heads in the game, shed the nerves away.
We said they had one of their 3 win conditions in that first map and it wasn't enough. This time they got 0. Rarga gets off to a start. Let's see if it's going to be a good one. Zelsis has just had his number the entire game, and this round is no exception. Coconut's on a flank here, but they hear the footsteps, the pitter-patter. Bang is ready for it. And Fever
Last player standing.
and steps up. John is just too clean with it. It's on Happy Way, who's not been able to reprise that incredible performance from Sunset. He has been a little quiet.
Is it a good idea from XLG? Sure, but the execution falls to pieces. Where are the trades? Where is the good spacing that we saw from them in their run? It just crumbles in that moment. Can Happy Way be a hero? Catches John on the cross. Isolated 1v1, but it's won out by Bang. And it feels like that could be the nail being driven into the coffin of XLG. He swings, he's disjointed. He's got the flash out, not the gun out, but assist Viva.
Nice. Okay.
Coconuts
We won that round, but
too
better
far
comms
ahead
than,
on that initial swing.
Like micro comms. Like I'm.
And even though these rounds have been won by Sentinels, you can see they're not fully satisfied. I mean, Kaplan does seem a little bit more relaxed than usual.
He's allowing Qbert to watch the game once again.
He's removed him from the corner, unblindfolded him. So this is, well, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. XLG are praying to whatever god they believe in, that Sentinels blunder into the B site. Eventually they're going to have to go hunting themselves. They have 0 info. Outside of this cam that's watching Mound, that so far has yielded nothing. Maybe a multi-push off this B main position, but Happy Way. He had it all to do on that corner with the Sheriff. It'll be tough to pull off.
And with the Cypher pressed up so close there, dying alone. Sentinel, they're just supposed to accelerate into this C site. The rest of XLG with classics only. They're the only one here to deal with them so far. Swing is going to come from Zelsis. Rarga gets 1 trade.
Yeah, this thing is here for Sentinels. Will have plenty of application. Rarga's got a Bulldog to hand currently. There is a the quad stack that XLG tried to set up at the start of the round just got used against them, albeit with better guns.
That long-range stinger coming into play. It's now or never for XLG. Sentinel's bonus round buy is not incredible. Could certainly imagine a scenario where they want to hit just a fast B execute, get Zekin up close with the stinger, try to get him into heaven off of a double satchel.
He's got a judge.
Wouldn't be shocked to see something like that. Oh, it does switch it up actually. Throws the stinger elsewhere. Maybe exact same plan, but just do it on C. Rarga wants to fight. He loves to fight Mound early. Did this a lot when he was playing Yoru on this map during the Taeho meta, which they were leaning into heavily.
We've seen so much less of that sort of Mound fighting happening here in Toronto in this current meta wire. Sen especially have not gone for those early fights.
Now look, you have that deep cam placed into Mound by Happy Way early again. Sentinels are opting to leave Zelsis in this position, keep their options open for a potential pivot back as they want to re-clear towards Mound in this mid-round. There it does have a Prowler to get out here, potential Haunt as well. Stun onto Zelsis, they want to isolate this fight. Rarga pushing forward, great double peek. I love that proactivity to find an advantage. That's going to give away the game as well. Look at the rotation from XLG on the top of the map, taking out that Sentinel. They know the hit is going to be coming into A.
Becken's got one job and one job only, but Viva had the stopping power of a Mack truck to take the Rays out of the round. Bang, drill with bullets through the boxes. Narrate getting just the kind of engagement this thing a player wants. John's actually got a rifle to play with.
One enemy remaining.
He will be the last one standing.
Spike down A.
Right for Prince, John stepped up, knocked it down. Like you mentioned, not a great bonus here from Sen, but XLG get the drop on Zelsis over at Mound, convert to a nice little A retake.
That's exactly why they have that cam there. They get a good little mid-round moment for Happyway to suddenly enter it. Gets the view on Zelsis. But that's just a guy with a stinger. We have Neon, Relay Bolt. Let's just get that fast double peek. Hubert, it's going to be okay.
Blink twice if you're in danger.
Now here we go. Sentinels fully buying up into this. Narrate to the attack side, Odin even. XLG early, triple walk down the Mound side. Recon Bolt dealt with. Viva takes some damage on the jump spot, but does get the valuable early information.
XLG, yeah, I mean, this Mound position can be effective if you are able to scale off of it. But there's a sheer wall that Zelsis can use to watch for that kind of push behind Sentinels. We'll let them know at least in advance that they have a timer against them. Narrate pinged out, so he needs to back away to the safest spot possible.
Still waiting.
Got the Odin here, so definitely want to work as many of these corners as possible. In fact, the B side was just the one for that. This door toggle, Zelsis has to call this quickly. He's able to avoid the paranoia, but he doesn't want to take this fight.
They've left Second all the way over in tree on A, by the way, as they're trying to get him stuff. Raga, again, able to find an opener. And it's a pivot back as Second is just taking this forward position. Can Happyway catch him? Yes, he does. Second shot in the side.
Sen here making a couple of rough assumptions. And Narrate is getting involved here with the Odin. No one getting pinged out by that recon. Bang with a smoke on upper, but still no plant. That spike is loose.
This is XLG just taking his time, ready to pounce when the spike gets tapped. 15 seconds left.
He's playing close, and Raga. That is a full Ferrari pick there for Nang.
10 seconds
Nicely jumped. 7 seconds left. Still needs to be applied at some point. John taken down by Coconut. Off that push from stairs. And it's all on Bang. Bulldog with Midi and Viva standing in his way. Wraps around, but XLG are doubled up there. Willing to take 1v1, but Bang's not going to give him a bloody choice. 4 kills for the Red Bull clutch. And Sen once again, grasp at the next round of playoffs.
XLG just cannot be giving that away this late in the game. Bang, that initial kill, the paranoia into the swing on Raga at Waterfall to bring it into the 3 versus 3. As Coconut just swings onto him a little bit early before the players from Heaven could descend into the site. Doesn't wait to play off the fault line or the flash, and he's punished for it. I think this is, frankly, the best map that Bang has had so far in this tournament. XLG are in so much danger. And at a moment that felt unlosable, there were only 15 seconds on the clock.
And now Sentinels expecting some form of reprisal from XLG. Very passive, looks over towards the A side. Inching forward on B. Outlaw for Zekin. It's a perfect round for it.
Slow take of Mound using the Prowlers from Narrate. Very passive here as John just trying to ensure that no one from XLG pushes too deep. Second taking the peek. What? Whiffs onto Midi. Rapid Sheriff shot.
And then Mini can just have himself an outlaw. All of a sudden, the weaponry from XLG looks much improved.
That was bold from Zekin. He's swinging potentially into multiple angles where he could have even gotten just traded out, but now Midi has picked up the outlaw. A couple light armor / regen for Sen as they walk towards these trips necessary to break it. Spike is here.
Nightfall now available here for Narrate. Bang also with it from the shadows. A lot to work with, and the spam is going to be deadly from this Odin. A very permeable piece of wall stands between Sen and XLG, and Raga hopes to step up. Razorvine here is definitely going to be respected. Still not yet applied, and Narrator's gone down. The spike is is loose. John's going to come forward. It's him and Delsis versus the entirety of XLG's combined might. And Delsis with the spray down gets him there. What an absurd way to end it. Sentinels descend into bloodlust and set up match point.
XLG just need to rush in there, stop the spike from going down. Multiple situations now where there is little to no time on the clock for Sentinel to get the spike down. There's so much excellent pressure from XLG coming in. Again, disconnected. Coconut just a little bit too fast. The three of them not swinging together. Zelsis able to take advantage. The bait of the spike plant tucked into the corner to get the two-man spray down. Some elation for Kaplan and feeling of desperation for Havoya. XLG are on the precipice of disaster. Sentinels, the cusp of blowing them out on both maps.
What comes next after the Hail Mary, Wyatt? They've run out of rosary beads to clutch onto. XLG throw everything at Sentinels in that round. Everybody, every player gets in there. Raga with the overdrive. And they walk into this round at least with a Hunter's Fury they can work something off of, but send in a post plant for the game with potentially a Viper's Pit to work with. That is a terrifying prospect.
Sentinels have 7 opportunities to close this out. And the advantage that they're going to have coming into this round feels insurmountable. 1 orb away from a Steel Garden and Showstopper, plus a pit for the post plant. Second just needs to collect an orb somewhere, send it in, route the XLG players. They throw down that Viper's Pit, and it should be all said and done.
A win against Wolves was called Mickey Mouse. Against BLG, SEN weren't really given credit. An easy run to playoffs, they said. Now against the #1 team from China, selected specifically by them. At what point do we start realizing that they're a separate team to what they were last year, giving them that credit? And at what point do they redeem themselves after a shocker in Bangkok?
It's slow from SEN to open things up, expecting that out of the timeout there could have been an incredibly proactive play from the defenders, pushing at them. It's Raga alone in mount. Danger as Celsius does spot him out. As you mentioned, this Hunter's Fury available. That could be the crux of XLG winning this and staying in the game.
There's the smoke. This might be a pretty quick one. SEN really angling for a powerful post plant with a Viper's Pit in the mix. Coconut feels the pressure. It's immense. Second now with the Showstopper holding onto this for a time. To upper. What's the timing going to be?
30 seconds
able to
left.
avoid it. Here is that Viper's Pit though. All of that retake. You two are going to start to be expended by XLG. They're going to try to find a way into this pit. Coconut's done so. Seconds down. John is down and so is the pit. On top of the Razorvine. XLG have found some step, but Bang and Narrate still stand in their way, and Bang, careful on the corner. Swing on Raga, reads low, the slide is good. And now it's Narrate. He'll be revealed in a moment, but he'll do the same. Throw that seed in. Spray around the corner. Raga to half, and out the way. Keeps XLG's head above the surging tides.
Their star duo activate in the 2 versus 2. Look at the way that they take care of Bang on that angle. Raga's movement just baits her out of that position, then swings wide, sliding deep. Happy Way able to capitalize off of Bang's crosshair placement being broken. The first step taken in an arduous journey back into this game. But XLG have managed to, at the very least, put SEN onto an eco. Just given they did so much damage in those prior rounds, that they certainly walked away from feeling like they should have even won. SEN, all players stacked up amount, probably gets the info. What? The long range stinger!
Coconut, who stood tall in that last retake, has already fallen. Chance for a gun recovery. Bucky Town is exactly where Raga gets dragged. Narrate is low. It is a rifle pick up for second, and John goes to work. XLG thrust onto the stage, thrust into the spotlight to speak on behalf of their region against the juggernaut of SEN that is dispatched their countrymen one by one by one. Now put it all on Viva. Sentinels have no incentive to push off this site whatsoever. They'll await the chime of the victory music. Fever down to 15 is all too much to do for XLG and Sentinels! The Reaper to visit the last door of China. The side quest is done. And Sunny Skies in Sen City is now the last remaining America's team in the upper bracket.
Absolutely obliterating the top seed from China on their international debut. That's as clean as it gets. Zels is performing so well on the defensive half of the map. You can't help but continue to talk about second Masterclass Neon on map 1 Sunset. He is playing some of the best in VALORANT we have ever seen for one of our all-time stars.